Call Curtis uncovered how the state was raiding your bank accounts and safety deposit boxes so California could use the money.
Well, tonight a state lawmaker from Fair Oaks wants a major overhaul of this troubled unclaimed property program. Here's Curtis Ming to tell us what he wants to do.
Well, as we found out, the state wasn't even telling you first, but was taking your stuff. That doesn't seem right, does it? Well, state lawmaker Roger Nilo says the state did it because there was one big incentive, and he wants to take that incentive away.
Take the incentive away, yes.
Assemblyman Roger Nilo doesn't like the fact the state has spent years raiding your bank accounts and safety deposit boxes, counting on that money to balance the state budget.
It's now worth over about $500 million to the state's general fund budget, and it's wrong. That's not what it was intended for.
The unclaimed property program was set up decades ago so the state would hold on to property you may have forgotten about and work to get it back to you. But over the years, it has morphed to the point the state would call anything, like a bank account or stocks you haven't touched for 3 years, unclaimed property. Without telling you, the controller would take it, funneling the funds into the state budget.
Oh gosh, we could use it for our general fund. It was kind of like Pinocchio's nose growing.
We've been at the same address for 34 years, but they couldn't find it.
In our investigation, we brought you multiple stories of people who have struggled to get back what the state took from them. Carla Ruff says no one notified her before they took her great-grandmother's pearls from a safety deposit box.
I wanted to hand it down to my daughter. It's a part of my family heritage.
Valued at $82,000, the state sold them for around $1,800 on eBay.
The more I found out about these additional facts, frankly, I became irritated. I would really like to do something about this.
Under a bill Nilo is about to introduce, the state controller would not be allowed to take any property unless you haven't touched it for 7 years instead of 3. But most importantly, he says the state would not be allowed to use unclaimed property to balance the budget.
Yeah, you have a new controller in town.
Controller John Chung, who oversees the unclaimed property program, is backing 2 other bills now at the Capitol, aimed at paying interest on unclaimed property and better notifying people before their stuff is taken. His staff says his bills are far more comprehensive.
The controller has his own idea of some reforms which I believe are really nibbling around the margins.
To nip the problem in the bud, Nilo says the state must be stopped from using unclaimed property to balance the budget. Otherwise, California will be encouraged to behave badly, scrounging around your stuff to keep the state going.
If we eliminate it from use for the general fund, it takes away the motivation to do all of these other things.
Well, his bill may run into problems at the Capitol. In case you haven't heard, we're in a budget crisis, and taking this $500 million away could mean more budget cuts. Nilo says he may recommend phasing the money out of the budget over time. And I do want to make it clear, you can search online at any time to see if the state has unclaimed property in your name. We have a link from our website. It's on the state controller's website.
It's a good thing to do. And he's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of interesting things to say, but he's got a dog in this fight, it sounds like.
Well, if you go onto the unclaimed property website, you will find Nilo's family's name in there. And he says he's not all that hard to find. All you have to do is go down to the Capitol. If you look around town, you find a lot of dealerships with Nilo on it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, well, he has a stake in those dealerships, so he's not too hard to find.
No.
How did the state get his money to begin with? It's a little strange.
The whole program is just, I know.
7 years may not be long enough either.
You've been doing a